All right. There we go. Live. Live, I think. QL. All right, sweet. And let's go pop this link around. All right. And here. Let's go pop that link around. All right. Okay. Wet palette here. Vallejo's over there. All right. Hello to anybody who's joining right now. This is going to be a painting stream for the HG Reginlaze Julia. Woo! So, I got a couple ideas here. I put it up to TikTok the other night, and I said, you guys have any ideas? Because I was torn between... Shoot. There's some in there. Okay. Here we go. So, I've got a palette here, and I'll be painting in... Okay, gonna be using some Vallejos, and I'm just trying to think of all the colors I'm gonna need here. I'm gonna definitely need, because I'm doing Jehuti, I'm gonna need black. Where's the black? Should be in here. It's gunmetal. And again, I did drop all my paints the other day, so they are not properly arranged. It's gunmetal. It's gold. It's rust. Where's my black? I'm trying to think here. Where I could have... you know what? I might have... Yeah, I do. I have it right here. Okay. So I got some Games Workshop. Oh. What's going on there? So I got some Games Workshop black right here. You can just use that. That'll be fine. Gold, black, gray... white, and oh, yep, I got a lighter blue over here. We can use that later. I don't need it right at this very moment. So using my God hand brush because I got this not that long ago, a couple months ago now, and I haven't used it outside of one project, and I've really liked it. So I'm gonna get some more practice in with this brush because I'm really digging it. It's making a huge difference. So I was kind of deciding on a color palette because we know the colors I'm using. I'm using the Jehuti colors. I think what I'm going to do is on the head, go black across the top, and then maybe do a two-tone on the inner part of the horn, go with like a black, and then do a white on the outside. And then obviously do on the mouth plate a gray, and then a blue on the mono eye, and then these two details on the sides here are going to be blue as well. And then I think these are still going to be white, so I'm going to pick a pretty incognito area to start, just so I get a feel and I don't go too hard at the first. So I'm thinking the back will be a good place to start, actually. A paint stir. Get a piece of wire or something. So. Just a tiny bit of water. Pretty wet palette, so it should be fine. And it seems all right. And then just lay it. I'm thinking maybe I should mask this, but yeah, I think it'll be fine. Because I want to do this inner shape in gold, kind of to mirror how the cockpit is on Jehuti, with the gold sort of for the dome on the cockpit. Oh, I killed my second cam by accident. Okay, there we go. Here. There we go. I'm good right there? Okay, sweet. Alright. So I'm going to pop this off. I'm going to be painting kind of for that armor part. I think I'm probably going to do the armor first. Make sure I got it thinner. Very thin. I need to make sure I start way thinner. I really like this gray. This is a Lehman Russ gray from Games Workshop. I've used this many times. I just love the way it goes on. It's so even, and it is such, like, it has such a good consistency to it. Just what I'm used to, I guess. It's water-based. I'm really trying to, like, switch up from using water-based. So I think I'm going to actually pop this. Well, I'll just get this first coat done first. It's pretty much on that surface. And then I'll go in later. I'm just freehanding this right now. I'll pop the white bits off later, but I can just do the preliminary with a freehand, I think. Got decent enough hands that I don't think I'll get paint on anything. Actually, I think I'm going to move this to my right side. It's going to make it way easier. I'm going to do most of my painting with the model intact right now, and then once I get more into the finer areas, I'm going to take it. I think I would take the top off now. Hello, anybody joining? I am looking at chat in between bouts of painting, so if you want to chat or say anything, leave a message and I will get to it. Questions, whatever. You know me, you want to make small talk, whatever. So far, I should take these verniers out, actually. I will probably do that. So far, not bad. Just getting Okay. Sorry, just repositioning. Okay. So, I'm just gonna do, because there's a thing on the jet. If you look at Jehuti's color scheme, you'll notice there's a color separation of like the inner armor and the outer armor, where it's the outer armor is layered over top, and then it's the gray, and then the inner parts are the black. It's on the arms, it's on the forearms, the biceps, the thighs. I'm wondering if I should replicate that by masking, because I haven't added any detail to show that replication. So it might look a little bit odd by masking, but if I, per se, make, say, this part black, and then maybe the frame on the arms and the frame will be black. The frame will be black and gold, I think. I haven't mapped out my color scheme digitally or anything like that yet, so I'm just winging it. Or actually, shit, I should have made the cockpit gold. Whatever, it's fine. I can always go back later and... I do hate these little paint containers that the Citadel paints come in to unvaried, very, very, very large degrees. They're annoying. So... this is going to be white. This is going to be black, I think. And then gold. Or actually, no, this is going to be white. Sorry. And then this will all be gray, I think. This bottom part here will definitely be gray. So we could probably go back and apply the second coat to this surface now. Seems like it's done on this part too, so. Trying to make sure I get very smooth strokes. It's pretty good. All right. So far, so good. How about this thing? It sucks is I can't make the legs just stand up. It's too watery. I'm not being very talkative because I'm very, very, very focused right now. So, I realize that, but my ass is painting. Oh, okay. So far, so good. Probably going to take breathers in between coats because my back is not doing so good today. But I think we can start on the shoulder armor now. Can I take this off, actually? Okay, I have to actually pull this off first, but... Oh, I think that was the polycap. Yep, it was. Da, 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 da. That's one shoulder. Hello, Gabe. Hello, Cyber Gabe. Okay, come on, don't fight me. There we go. Oh, when did the second camera die? Oh, fuck. Dude, this second camera blows. Doesn't even, like, register half the time what I'm doing. It just dies on its own. So these are going to be white, I think. Or, haven't quite decided. I think they could be white, though. I think these are absolutely going to be blue. Or, sorry, gray. It's a bluish gray. Let's pull those out. Let's get the underside. Okay, it's another arm piece. Oh. this part's definitely going to be. Oh, yeah, you know what? This can be gray. I'm not going to match the colors up 1-to-1. I'm just going to use certain motifs. I don't really want to go against the color separation of the design because I didn't add any details to specify I would be changing things. Yeah. Alright, not bad so far. I think I'm going to go gray on this collar bit. Nope, not too much. Alright, I like that. Painting's so much fun. It's just so relaxing. I don't know. A lot of people seem to struggle a lot with hand painting. I just... I'm not the best at it, but... Well, I think I used to be a lot better. I think I fell off. I stopped practicing. I kept focusing so hard on my building that I didn't give painting much of a thought anymore. I used to be so enthusiastic about it. I'm trying to get back into that mindset. I do really want to start airbrushing more. I just don't have the space. Oh, I just cracked my back. Oh, that felt so good. Holy shit. Ah, yes, that was so awesome. Okay. We're getting somewhere. Whew. All right, pretty good. Pretty good, me thinkies. Oh. So, now I'm just going to go. Oh. Okay. This brush is fucking awesome. Okay. There we go. Sweet. All right, making legit progress here. The frame's all going to be black, I think. Actually, I'm wondering. Because this is going to be gold. Yeah, you know what? That's a good idea. I'm going to take that off. Take that off. I'm going to go in with a detail brush and probably mask that inner bit with the mono eye after. This is all going to be black. So this is going to be black. It's going to be gold. Hard to say, actually. I want the frame to be gold, but I can't decide anymore. You know what? The frame will be black. It makes sense. It makes the most sense. So we'll leave that for now. I'm trying to figure out what I want to do for these legs. So it makes a lot of sense to make this gray. I'll take these out now. Oh, grad. It's really in there. Come on. You know what? I can paint around it. It's fine. That blue looking good. Yeah, it's nice. It's a Citadel mix. It's a to me, or not to me. It's a Citadel Games Workshop Lehman Rust Gray. I've been using this for a long time. It's one of my go-tos when I need a bluish gray, rather than mixing my own. But I quite like it. Actually, this should have been gold. You know what? Who cares? And I think these colors are going to look interesting on the Reginlaze. I thought about it in my mind and I couldn't quite see it, but I was like, you know what, I'll try it anyways. Nothing ventured. I think it's going to look cool. I think the Reginlaze is probably a design that looks better in darker colors, but this is still going to look good, I think. Right. I think that's pretty much it so far for the blue. So I think I can probably... Oh, somebody just commented on my TikTok, Titans colors. That would have been a good idea too. But I think this is a little bit more interesting. This thing would look fucking awesome in Titans colors. Come back later for the next coat. So far the blue's looking good. Probably time to move on to... I'll do a little bit more work with the blue here. And where's the other one? There it is. we go. Sweet. We can do a little bit more on these pauldron pieces now. God, let's see if I can... Oh, crack my back a second time. I think that's all I'm going to get. Sweet. So far, so good. All right, it's a great amount of work done so far. I think I'm going to probably... switch to maybe... the gold. I'm gonna give it a good shake because this is a freaking Vallejo gold, so it's probably not gonna go on amazing, but so I'm probably going to start just very lightly with the gold and just keep going. Well, thanks, Jeremy. It's not even gonna show up at first. Keep going. I hate doing metallics by hand because it just takes forever. Going to show up for a while. It's going to be a few coats until it's the least visible. Let me be honest. I think it should be white. This back piece here needs to be gold though. How long have I been going? An hour and 13. I go a little bit longer. My back is getting sore though, so I don't know how much I'm ultimately gonna get done, but I should have really, if I was gonna do the JOT thing, I should have scribed more lines into this, but it didn't really occur to me. It was just supposed to be a painted build. No modding. Can do... Where did I put it? I don't think this piece is color separated, so I'm going to have to mask this. I don't want to do that right now. However, I will do this bit. All right. Which kid is it? One of the Valkyries from IBO? No, it's the Reginlaze, Julia. You haven't finished this show, so you haven't seen it yet. It's a very, very, very... It's a Reginlaze, so the Reginlaze is like the Ace version of the Greys. It's the successor to the Greys, and then the Reginlaze Julia is a very heavily modified version of the Reginlaze. It's an Ace suit. It's used by, what's her name, Julieta from Season 2. She's one of the it's a boss suit, basically. It's like a final boss suit, pretty much. It's like the Zeong of IBO. I think I'll start doing some black, maybe? Or, yeah, do a little black. Pursued Mist 521. Didn't know you had a YouTube. Hell yeah, man. I've been streaming the last month or two. I started doing regular streams. Just me building. And just chilling out. Today we're painting the HG Reginlaze. Fan of Titanfall. I've been replaying Titanfall 2. Yeah, I love Titanfall. I just, I kind of fell out of 2 after they respawned, completely ignored the total takeover of the servers. And but I played a little bit of Project North Star the other day, and that was pretty fun. Yeah, I don't know how much longer I'm going to be going for because my back has been killing me all day. And sitting here and slouched over a desk painting is not exactly the best remedy for that. Kind of. Maybe someday we get a third installment. Anything robot related, I'll support. Kind of, but not really. They're I don't know. They're not as they're not like literally unplayable, but I think the Project North Star client is a much better alternative, at least on PC. I don't know about the console situation. Da, da, da. Mm-hmm. There we go. The black frame, I think, might have been the right call. I know traditionally on Jehuti the frame is the gold, but I think the black will probably work a lot better for... Yeah, it's sad. I don't know. It just shows the mindset of where people are at. I think it sucks to say, but in the West especially, I don't think anyone gives a shit about giant robots. And Apex Legends is like a top tier competitive game now, so all the money goes into that. Oop. There we go. The only pieces of giant robot media that really have any sort of traction in the West are Transformers and, like, now Evangelion is, like, fucking enormous now, sadly. And Gundam. That's about it. Even then, it's very niche. It's niche even in Asia too. It's not. It's in Japan. It's mecha's not really even at the forefront of. It hasn't been for a long time, but mecha's not really been that popular for a long time. It got phased out after, like, Gurren Lagann was like the last big mecha anime, I think, the last, like, huge one, and nothing's really come close since, I don't think. The closest I'd say was maybe like Gundam Unicorn or IBO, but those are both Gundam. I think the 2000s was like the last big hurrah of like mainstream mecha shit, because you had like Gurren Lagann, Code Geass, Gundam 00. It sucks. It kind of sucks that Code Geass is probably one of the only like somewhat popular mecha shows, because I honestly think Code Geass is pretty garbo. I think it's kind of sad that one's like one of the popular ones. I'm gonna put this back on and see what it looks like. I'm very impatient when I paint, because I always want to see what the model looks like when it's all colored up. Come on. Great chess scenes until you learn how to play chess. It's great chess scenes for people who don't play chess. I think that's the best way I can describe it. I fucking despise Evangelion. I think anyone else who's watching knows that, so. I like the actual, like, mecha stuff in it well enough. I think the Eva's a pretty neat design. I think the concept of the angels are cool. I like how visceral the action can be, but I just really despise the writing in that show. I think it's just really preachy and kind of pretentious. Also just boring. That was a big thing about that show for me, is I was just like, this is freaking boring. It was also not even like that gory, I'd say, as far as... I'd say it's like... a little bit. I'd say Getter Robo's way gorier. All right, so far I like that. It's neat looking. Shoot. Yeah, I'm digging that. I'm digging that look. He's gonna need some highlights, which is a shame because there's not really any lines on this kit per se. But I'll figure something out because he's gonna look very drab without it. Da, 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 da. Well, it's sad. Superhero stuff is the first over here. It's the first like aspect of nerd culture to go like genuinely mainstream. I think, like to that degree. It's not like stuff like Star Wars hasn't pierced as well, but it's not in the same way where now you have people of all like ages and stuff going to Marvel movies because it's become so mainstream. It's like you'll never see the amount of people talking about anything else, like except for maybe D&D. Like it's kind of crazy how big D&D's gotten now, but it's like you can go on Tinder and you can see any white girl just have like, ooh, talk to me about Marvel movies in their bio, and it's like you don't see that for anything else. Like you're not gonna see that. It's very mainstream. Like I'd say it's the most mainstream, like traditional, like nerd piece of nerd culture right now. And so it's just become, well, how do you say? It's been made to pander. It's got to be for everybody now, right? So can't really have too much what's the word, subversion in the Marvel movies, because it has to be digestible now. There's a lot of people watching it, right? A lot of little kids, a lot of boomers who go to movie. It's funny too because it's like a lot of boomers just have the absolute worst taste in like movies and TV. Like they just don't get it, and they're like, "What? That's stupid." It's why I think it's why it's gonna take a long time for mecha stuff to reach more of a mainstream audience, because it's still, people still have the kind of idea in their mind that it's like about it's that it's just a thing for children and that there's no like value to it outside of that. and it's not the stuff like the Bayformers hasn't helped either, because that stuff's just like brain rot, right? So, and that's really one of the only exposures the average person gets to any sort of that stuff is through those. They go see those movies, and it's just like it's like mind numbing, like slop at a cinema, and then that's the only really impression they get of it. And it's hard to show somebody the merits of something when their only two mainstream exposures to it are either that or they're like a young person who watches Evangelion, and then they get the assumption that because there are subversive elements to Evangelion that it's like, because they don't like it, they don't like the robot stuff in Eva, but they think that because that's like, a lot of people think that because of that it's trying to tear down the idea, even though it's not really at all. And if you know the guy who made it, you'd know for a fact it's not. Like, I don't know, it's stupid. Most people just also won't give Gundam a chance either, because the first three Gundams have a lot of, like, I think the original Gundam is genuinely pretty damn smart, and it has a lot of merit to it, but it's very hard for a lot of people to get into it because it's longer, and there's a lot of, you have to pay attention through a lot of it. It's not like, it's not hand-holdy. Actually, I kind of want to make the frame gold. Oh, I kind of want to make the frame gold now. I don't know. I mean, I can go from black to gold. I might just do all the frame in black and then see how I feel. Paint the frame in black right now and then just go later down the line. It is, but I just it is more about the characters after a certain point. But the thing is, I don't like the characters, and I just kind of found the story boring, and I didn't like how, what's the word? I don't know. It just felt kind of pretentious to me. Like, I don't know. I was not in for it. I also just don't like the fact that it seems to be one of those things where it's like, how do I put it? It's one of those things where it's like there's no ability to people don't let you criticize it. Like, it's just oh, if you don't like it, you just don't get it. And it's like, no, I think I get it. I just think it's boring and I don't like it. I'm just at that age where I just don't care. Like, I'm just... I also just hate, I think people who go, oh, this one's not about the robots, it's about the character, are the biggest fucking idiots on the planet. Because it's like, yeah, no shit, I wouldn't watch it if the characters sucked. It's like, I'm not a fucking idiot who plugs my brain in to like, transfer literal rot. Like, I've watched one or two bad mecha shows just because I like the robots, but that's like... I'm not out here watching Gundam because the characters are shit. I'm not out here watching, like, Get a Robo because I don't like the story. I like the action, and I like the robots, and I like the art of actual giant robots, and I think they're fucking cool, but it's like a foreign concept for people to grasp, I think. Just nobody understands that aspect of it. And it's like, I don't get what the issue with that is anyways, because it's like people sit down and go watch superhero movies, and they go watch fucking shonen. There's a new shonen every month, and it's like people always lose their shit over it. And it's always just like, it's like, I don't to go watch Dragon Ball or some shit like that, and it's like, I don't know, that registers to me as like the same thing. It's like, well, this is not like people are going to watch Marvel movies for the fucking characters. The characters suck ass. Yeah, it's kind of like the Rick and Morty thing where people had a big huffle about, oh, Rick and Morty is just really, really freaking smart, bro. And if you don't understand it, you're just not in the know. And it's like, what are you talking about? It does just suck that to a lot of people, that's like the only perception of this kind of stuff is just that Ava shit, and it's always just annoying, and I just don't want to talk about it. And it's like I don't know, I just pass. Seems to a weird over fascination with depth people have. It's also just a big thing that pisses me off about it is it's just I see so many people want to talk about the intellectual aspect of it, but then like I see so many video essays. It's like, oh, how Metal Gear is inspired by Evangelion. It's like because there's a big robot. And it's like, what the hell are you talking about? There's a game called Zone of the Enders, which is the color scheme of the color scheme I'm using is the main robot from that game. And guy made a few years ago, I remember, it was like some channel, was it Super Bunny Hop or some, no, I don't think it was Super Bunny Hop. Somebody made a video and it was like Zone of the Enders inspired by Evangelion or some crap like that. And I was like, no, it's not. The plot is 1-to-1 of Gundam. The world in that game is just the universal century. Like they live in cylindrical colonies and shit. It's like, what are you talking about? And it's like, okay, if you want to like this show, that's fine by me, but don't go like flapping your mouth if you don't know what you're saying. It's annoying. Yeah, I think this should definitely be gold. I'm gonna pop the armor off and I'm gonna just do it all in black, and then I think go to gold. Yeah, you know what? That's fine. I'll just strip the parts. This is a very light coat, anyways. I'll just strip all the parts I did and. Whoa. How long we've been going? Almost 2 hours. Kind of running out of steam here. I'm gonna stop soon. But I think I got a lot done so far, just putting on the base coats. I'm going to reconsider the colors a little bit more. I think what's really going on is I think these gold pieces should have been white, and then these black pieces should have been gold. I think that's definitely what I should do here on. And then these can be white. I think that's probably the right call. I might, after I'm done this, boot up Photoshop, grab the line art, and sort of just, how do you say, just sort of do a digibash more so. Because I didn't really plan it out. I've just been winging it. Because I just wanted to get some painting practice in. But I think it looks good so far. I'm going to put the arms on and see, kind of get a more of a picture. Pacific Rim, I think, looking back, it's a miracle that the first movie even happened, but I think it was always doomed to fail. I think Del Toro just probably knew that and just did it anyways. Because, there's no way there was gonna be enough interest in that. I think the first Pacific Rim is actually like a genuine masterpiece, and I think it's the best piece of actual mecha that the West will ever put out. It's kind of incredible that a Hollywood film exists that is that unapologetic of like, hey, there's like Mazinger stuff in this movie. It's like kind of batshit crazy that you've got like Gal Gaigar, Mazinger, like Getter Robo style. Like, just, here's a big super robot, and he is just gonna go crazy and beat the shit out of a giant monster. And, it flopped. So, the second movie, sadly, is the one that did good, and the second movie was garbage. It's like, what the fuck is going on? Like, I don't ever understand how that, like, why is it like the only ones that do well financially is like the second Pacific Rim and like the Transformers movies. It's like that second movie was atrocious, and it's like apparently they just didn't let Del Toro back on the project, and it's like, okay, I see how it is. The designs in the second movie were really lame in comparison, too. I don't think they were horrible. They were just so plain. The first movie has such a great combination of the silhouettes and also just the overall aesthetic of each robot is so completely different. Each one feels like it has a story to tell. There's thought and care put into the intricacies of the mechanicals on everything. It's and then the second movie, the robots are all clean and they don't really have like. There's not much going on in the second. There's they're two like, and this is especially considering the first movie's designs are also very like clean. They follow the silhouette rule very well. Like they look like super robots. But they translate so well into live action. The second ones don't have the sense of scale that the first movie's robots did, and that's partly in part with the the virtual camera work is very. Like the VFX shots, there's a lot of like boring angles. There's a lot of diversity in the camera angles in the first movie, and the general set pieces that are used give a good illustration of the scale. It helps that it's always at nighttime. You see the rain bounce off of the panels as the robots move around. You see these just massive splashes of water, and you see like. They fight in a lot of diverse areas. It's not just skylines in the sea. You see giant boats. You see. The best part of the movie is the fight in the harbor where he picks up the shipping containers and the boat and all that shit and just starts wailing with it. And it gives such a good sense of scale. And there's shit like there's shots where you see it from the perspective of a chopper, and this is such a good details though, is the choppers following it around and hitting the monsters with the spotlights and shit like that. Like that's so cool. The second movie doesn't have any of that. It's always broad daylight whenever they fight. They're in giant, large, open environments, and it makes the sense of perspective kind of skewed. There's also not a great regard for the physical element of it in the second movie. The robots are very floaty, which is, the first movie got it just right because you have these big, like the fights in the first movie are big. Like they're slow enough. There's a lot going on. There's still like cool moves being thrown out and shit like that. They feel agile. They have clean silhouettes and they move around and they are agile and they fight, but there's still a sense of weight to every hit. In the second movie, they are way too nimble. They're way too fast. They're way too light. That feeling of weight is just completely gone. Hits don't feel as satisfying when they punch. In the first movie, when like something gets punched, it's like there's a sense of impact to it. It's in the sound design. It's in the visual. I can't pretend I like Bayformers. I think the first movie will always have a special place in my heart because I grew up with it, and I did love the first movie as a kid, but I just hate that that's the cornerstone of how we look at giant robot media in the West, because I think the way the aesthetic they used for the robots is just not proper. They should have looked at more actual reference and stuff, but it was an instance of the VFX team trying to like it's overcompensating to me. It's just too flashy. Like there's not enough substance. Like it's too much detail, not enough surface. They were so focused on how many parts can move, and you see the designs in motion, they just look horrible to me in motion. I think some of the 2007 ones have really interesting silhouettes, and I don't even think all the 2007 designs are bad. I just wish they'd had a better art style to it. And I think as the movies go on, I think every movie after the first one is pretty damn unwatchable. I think Revenge of the Fallen is probably one of the worst movies I've ever seen, and I never finished the fourth one. And I watched the fifth one, but I had to get like pissed drunk to get through it, and I was like, "Oh, this is awful." Yeah, I just wish that like I just hate that that's like the best we have. Like we don't really have anything that feels like a like Pacific Rim is really all we have. If you want to watch like a good Western giant robot thing, like your options are very limited. It's very how do I put it? It's very slim pickings. There's things I like. I really do like a lot about the first 2007 movie, but I think for everything I like about it, there's probably two things I don't. Da, 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 da. Oh. The VFX in the movies are all really well done. Like the rendering's really good, the lighting and the reflections are all really well done. I just don't like the designs. It's like you got 50 million moving parts, and it's just like I wish there was consistency to them. There's not. There's no realism. Which is like fine, you know. You don't need realism for it beyond a certain degree, depending what you're trying to do. But it's in Transformers. The thing I always found interesting about Transformers designs is the consistency. It's interesting how you have something that makes such a good toy because when you look at it as a robot in a vehicle, you can understand the transformation. You can't do that in the live action movies. There's just not. It's like you can kind of try and argue it, but it's like they just don't work. Those transformations are complete bogus. They just wanted to have a lot of pieces. Like they wanted to make it as visually complex as possible. And it's like that. I got to give props to those Hasbro toy designers in 2007 because they really tried. They really tried, and I think a lot of those '07 toys are genuinely really cool. But there's a lot about them that's like you just can't translate the proportions and all that stuff because it's like it's honestly as bad as some of the G1 stuff in terms of like the mass shifting. It's just instead of it being big shapes that morph. It's now a bunch of tiny little parts that morph into something that doesn't really. Well, you want to strike. I think I'm a little in the middle. I don't want someone over complex or not complex enough. Well, you want to strike it in the middle, but that's the thing. The Bayformers films don't. They lean too much into the complexity of it. There's a level of detail you have to have in order to like. You can't just have a blocky ass like cartoon design on screen because it just isn't gonna look believable. But there has to be a level of it where it's like you can look at those designs and you would see stuff and you're like, why is this all exposed? Like, why is there pistons and Kibble junk just sticking out of the robot? Like, it doesn't make sense. To make it more realistic, like it doesn't make any sense because those things should naturally be concealed. There's still exterior parts of the car and stuff that you're not using that just kind of disappear. And it's like, it should be, there should be a level of form to it. It's like form, you balance form and function. And there's not really a lot of function to how it looks. So it's like, there's no form either to me. It's like there's a guy in Gundam design. He's a very famous designer. He's called Hajime Katoki, and he's basically the guy who revolutionized, like, not revolutionized, but he brought in a new era to it, because he was the first one to do function over form, where he was like, yeah, giant robot is not real, but there still should be a level of internal consistency to the design. And he implemented aircraft motifs and stuff like that with like his paneling and his mechanicals, and his designs are fully fleshed out. If you look at like the EXS is his kind of magnum opus, the EXS Gundam, because it's completely thought out. Everything on the design has a purpose. And there's a level of thought put into it, and it ushered in a like it's a trend that you still see like in Gundam design, because traditional Gundams in the very first anime are very simple looking, because it was in the tail end of that 70s stuff, and there's somewhat of a thought put into them in the concept, but not really. Like there's not a ton of detailing. They're very simple designs, which I like, but it's a need to fulfill whatever you're trying to go for. And I like the Bumblebee movie designs a lot. I would say overall I definitely prefer them to the Michael Bay aesthetic. I think actually a problem I have with some of them, I think the Optimus is actually one of the weaker ones of that bunch. I think the Ironhide, Bumblebee himself, Wheeljack looks awesome, Brawn looks sick. Optimus is weird because I like his silhouette a lot, but then I look at the design and I'm like, no, there should be more. There's still stuff about it that's a little too like messy looking in certain areas, like especially in the arms. And I'm just trying to figure out what's going on there. Okay. I'm about wrapped up now. So I think I'm going to go ahead and make a mock-up of what I'm going to do for the rest of the colors now that I've put the gray down. Because, yeah, I think this should be white. I don't know. Still deciding. Yeah, Bionicle was one of my big... Like, when I was a kid, my 3 favorite things were Star Wars, Bionicle, and Transformers. I still have a lot of my Bionicles, actually. I think Bionicle's probably what segued me into Gundam. Because I liked the... I don't know, I didn't do a ton of, like, custom builds when I was younger with my Bionicles. I would mostly just... Like, I just liked the sets and the characters. And then I didn't really fool that around. It wasn't until I got into Gundam that I really started designing stuff more, and... So, hey, how did that come off? Huh. There's a part missing from the foot. Where did that go? Da-da, da-da. My floor? That's weird. The piece is pretty lodged in there. Oh, there it is. That's weird. How did that come out? I don't remember taking that out. Maybe I did. Okay. I'm gonna think more about what. No, you're good. That's why the chat is there. The chat is there so I can engage with people while I do this. Otherwise, I would just be doing video. I'm gonna start doing actual videos because I think it'll allow me to illustrate more of what I'm doing. But while I'm in stream, it's good to get the conversation going. So I can kind of... I like how this is going so far, though. I think I'm digging the colors right now. I just need to decide more what it is I want to do. So I'm gonna try 2 mock-ups and then probably put it up to a vote as far as where I'm gonna place the gold and the white and the blue respectively. Because I'm gonna do I'll either do a light blue or maybe a seafoam green. I might do a green actually. I might do a kind of lighter kind of neon green maybe for the accents. But I kind of like how this gold, like now that I'm looking at it on camera, I kind of like the gold here and here. So, I don't know. The skirt's on. Let's see how he looks with the skirts on. This is such a cool design. Do you have confidence in TF films moving forward? No, not really. I'm going to be honest. Not really. I had a lot of faith after Bumblebee. And Rise of the Beast sounds interesting, but I'm just tapped out of Transformers at this point. I'm just like, I've seen how Hasbro has run the brand from a corporate standpoint, and I've seen how it's played out creatively. And it's just not, there's nothing there to me, like, anymore. It just all feels bland. It feels corporate now. It just feels really corporate. That's the only way I can describe it. It just is, like, corporate is really the only word I can actually use to describe it to me now, because it's the same stuff. Same design, same whatever. I don't know. I don't really have a lot of faith in it. Rise of the Beast sounds interesting, but I can't. I'm gonna have to see it to believe it. Bumblebee was just a nice, like, I don't know. I think Bumblebee was probably just a nice break. It was just a one-off little nice thing, and I was like, wow, it's crazy to be watching a Transformers movie where, like, I'm engaged with what's happening, and I like how the robots look, and I like the characters, and it's just a nice, like, it's just a nice movie. Like, it's a good movie. Because the first Transformers is like a real movie. Like, it has a structure and a story and characters. I can't really say any of the other ones do. Like, the second movie, from what I remember, absolutely does not. It is not a real movie. Especially not like the third. Well, I don't know. I don't remember much about the third. The third was just like visual overload to me. That's what I remember mainly about the third movie. Just an absurd amount of noise and just like extremely gratuitous robo-violence for some reason. I'm probably going to end it there because we've been going for 2 hours. So thank you everyone who tuned in. I think I got a pretty good amount done. I'm going to go sketch it out, and I'll get back in the next couple days and keep going on it. I might even keep it going. Maybe is today Thursday? Yeah, it's Thursday. Maybe even tomorrow I might come back.